this specific curriculum, social process and behavioral issues are there. So, in this context, in the unit number 1, we will cover the concept of organizational behavior with the objectives. After reading this unit, you should be able, or student should be able to understand about the curriculum which are correlated the changing scope of the organizational behavior involving the micro and macro organizational behavior. There we will discuss in this unit micro level as well as the macro level of the behavior or the organizational behavior here. Also, we will discuss in this unit number 1 open system, what is the open system, and the institutional perspectives of the society and the organization. The society environment organization interface is the part of the unit number 1. Social process and sources of the human behavior in the journal and at work is the part of this unit number 1. Then we will discuss about the social process of the human behavior in journal and at work. There is the correlation of the behavior because everywhere in the market there are the customer and there are the consumer. So organizational behavior is also defined the behavior of customer and the sometime of the consumers who is correlated directly or indirectly with the organizations who are producing their services or their products. Process level from the individual, which is known as the micro level, which is small, and at the societal level this is known as the macro level, and changing the society and organization in India is the part. Process level from the individual, which is known as the micro level, to the society, which is the macro level. So individual persons who are working in an organization is considered as the micro level, while in case of the society, when we have discussed about the values, rules, regulations, and in total everything which we have considered about the organization, then it becomes the part of the macro level, where are the various political, legal, cultural impacts or constraints or factors are affecting upon the organizational behavior. In the next slide, you can see here the structures of introduction is there. In introduction system, we can consider the introduction, open system, institutional perspectives of society and organizations. Then in the point number 3, we will discuss about the society environment, organization interfaces, what are the interfaces, how it is correlated with the society. Then social process as the source of the human behavior. Human behavior is very significant, which is the part of the structure. Process level from the individual micro to the society macro, as well as changing society and organization in India is also we will discuss in this specific structure. Then we will consider here in this specific slide number 1, you can say, which is started here, the introduction here, as the term organizational behavior, which is known in the short as the OB. OB is the initially had the references only to the behavior and the nature of the people in an organization. So what are the nature, how they are working, what is the culture, they all are the things is the part of this introduction session. This is given by the fuzziness of the boundaries are there, which is given by the blood in the year of 1994. This discipline combining the cultural, This is not only a single subject, or this is not only the single concept. When we are discussing about the OB, when we are discussing about the organizational behavior, then this is not only a simple discipline. This is the coordination, or there is some specific disciplines are included or combined, which is known as the cultural anthropology is the part, as well as the economics, political science, psychology, sociology, always tended to stretch beyond these domains. Hence, within the decades of its establishment, identities, organizational behavior, or you can say the OB, also incorporated the behavior and the nature of the organization. Nature of organization nowadays is the part of the studies here. It is very significant to study about the OB everywhere. We can understand that today is concerned is first with the behavior. What is the behavior? And nature of the people within the organization, how they are behaving towards their task, as well as what are the synergy is present during the interaction between the person to person, or between the departments also. Second, with the behavior and the nature of the organization. What is the nature of the organization? Which type of the organization is exists? Which type of the organization is producing the goods? Which type of the services they are providing? In which sector this organization is working? So culture may be differ according to their products, according their segment, in which segment they are dealing. It may be a pharmaceutical industry, it may be IT industry, and so on. Various type of the industries are there. So the second, with the behavior and the nature of organization within their socio-culture, political, economic environments are significant. So these type of the environment we have already discussed in the starting, in the introduction, because political, economic and socio-culture are the very significant factors, which is under the part of the macro level factors, which directly impact upon the behavior of the organization. Though it was interviewed within their term like the organization theories and organization sciences, yet a professional specialization, it has acceptably settled with the term organizational behavior. So there is the main important part is there. Today is the word is going as micro as well as the macro level. Two type of the factors are there. Then in next slide we can understand the social process is important. Socialization is very, very important. Socializations also depends the reference groups, culture, work culture, norms of the society, values, as well as the what are the factors are influencing and which type of the constraints are available in the any organization. So understanding the social process is important to understand both the micro level as well as the macro level of the streams are there. For this purpose, we have to discuss the open system. The one is known as the open system, and the institutional perspectives of the society and the organization, the society environment, organization interfaces, social processes as the source of human behavior in general at work, and the process level from the individual, which is known as the micro level to the societal macro level. So here we understand the social process, how it is happened, how the socialization goes on, how the socialization impact upon the behavior of the organization, not only the behavior of the particular person. So it is clearly indicated in this specific term when we are setting context for the organizational behavior. You can see from setting the context of the OB in the post-COVID world, there something is changed. I think we understand after the COVID there may be many changes are exist in the market. Everything now changed, which is known as the post-COVID world. Like the needs, demands, expectation of individuals and organizations have changed accordingly. Now, in the recent backlash, companies such as the Swiggy's, we can understand about the Zomato, faced the huge backlash from its delivery partners for the high workload, unequal pay, and unsafe work conditions sometimes. The study of the organizational behavior is helpful in understanding the nature, what is the nature, beliefs, needs, expectations, and behavior of the delivery partners where they are working as jointly, as well as the individuals, management, and delivery patterns as the team is the part of the organizational behavior. And the overall organization, what they are doing in the market, is directly indicated in the organizational behavior. Next, we can see organization behavior is about studying how people act at work. This specific line is very, very important. Organizational behavior is about studying how the people act at work or at workplace and applying that knowledge in managing the organization. There is very important phenomena is there, not only the knowledge, but how this specific knowledge, how your strategies or your policies are working in the organization, it is directly indicated in the organizational behavior. So the organizational behavior is about the studying how the people act at the work and applying that knowledge in managing the organization. Knowledge management is very, very important because you are delivering your knowledge for the sake, for the growth of the organization, as well as this is directly indicated about the what type of the organization may be there and what type of the organizational culture may be arise or develop as per the instructions or as per the behavior of managers and as well as the individual person who are working in any organization. It applies to behavior of the people at work in all type of the organization, like the public organization are there, private organizations are there, you can say the cooperative sectors are there, commercial sectors are there, service organization or service sector is there. In India, the service sector is developing day by day. Organizational behavior is the study of the human behavior. So, in organization, to improve the performance, improve the efficiencies, to achieve the individual and organizational objective or organizational goals, there is the need to study, there is the need to apply, there is the need to focus about the applications of their knowledge, about the applications of the theories which are directly indicated or helpful to study the organizational behavior. Next, we can say, you can understand about the definition of OB. OB can be defined using the three key factors or features are there. Study the human behavior. Sometimes we studied that human behavior is unpredictable. Okay, but now this is the in the management studies we can study about the human behavior or consumer behavior, then we can apply our knowledge how to maintain the consumer or the customers with our specific organization. Sustainability, what is the sustainability? How many people are still with the organization? What is the ratio of the employees who are leaving the organization per annum, yearly basis? So, this is very, very important that study the human behavior in the context of organization and to improve the organization effectiveness. OB or organizational behavior of the people in the context of the workplace where the pupil, process, here is the very important part, P, P and E. This is the pupil, process and external environment interact with each other. So we can say when we are studying about the 7 P's, we have studied about the 4 P's. So that is the part of the marketing mix, because there are the pupils are there, process is there, place is there, product is there, physical evidences are there. So here pupil and process and external environment interface is very, very important when we are defining the organizational behavior. So this is clearly indicated here. Study of human behavior is there, organizational studies and context are there, as well as to improve the organization effectiveness is there. We are studying, and this is the part of the OB, because not only the organizational but external factors are also important sometimes to change the behavior of the organization. We can study it in later there. In the field of the OB emphasis, you can see there, the field of OB emphasizes how individual and teams link and act within the organization and with the factors to external to the organization. Such knowledge helps in shaping the personality, attitude to the employees and define the organizational culture. Thus improving an organizational efficiency and effectiveness, it is very, very important we focus about the organizational culture as well as the study of the organizational behavior. Scope is very, very important. What is the meaning of the scope? After the study of management studies, after the completion of this curriculum, what is the scope of the OP? Why there is the need to study and focus on the organizational behavior? Because most of the time we spend our time in a specific organization, like from morning 9 a.m. to sometime 9 p.m. So our time is more we are spending in the organization as compared to our homes. So the scope of organization study is very important. The purpose of OB is to explain why the employees demonstrate the certain behavior. Why this type of the behavior this particular person is doing in the organization. Predict how employee will react to organizational situations. How he will react. Then influence how they act and take the decisions in future. OB has 3 main focus areas here. So with the study of the OB, we can understand, you can understand that how a particular person, how a particular employee behave. We can predict their in future efficiency. We can predict about the some organizational situations, how that particular person can influence, what is the level of motivation is there. So there is so many factors are there we can consider during the study of the organization behavior or the organizational behavior. Like they focus on the individual or the intra-individual behavior. One behavior is the individual behavior. But sometimes when we are working in a team, then there is the change in the behavior. Your performance may be changed. Why? Because we are not doing any specific work for individually. But when we as a team or when we are doing the inter-departmental competition, then there is the spirit that we will become the winner. Because there is a change in the behavior. So individual behavior may be different, but the intra-individual behavior may be changed because sometimes we are influenced by our team, our managers, and so on. So many factors are there. In the field of the OB, explores the individual differences in the personality, because personality is known as mask. The word personality is derived from the persona, which means there is the mask. Personality may be changed. by the trainings, by the study of organizational behavior. So there the personality may be the dynamic. Management studies said that your personality can be changed with the influence, and when we are working as a team and our manager are providing some specific guidance, how you can achieve your targets, how you can perform well. So this is the focus of the individual or the intra-individual behavior. The field of organizational behavior explores the individual differences in the personality, attitude. There is the attitude. What is the meaning of attitude? When we calculate your likes or your dislike, then the sum total of the likes and dislikes is equal to the attitude. Attitude can be measured on the Likert scale. So many things are there on which we can study how is your attitude. Positive attitude, negative attitude, neutral attitude, attitude in a specific situation, attitude towards your promotion. So many factors are there which are directly influence the attitude of the employees or the persons. So perception, what is the perception about the product, what is the perception about the industry, what is the perception about the team leaders. So perception about the organization, perceptions about the team leaders, perception about the specific field or in which field that particular persons or the company is doing business. So many factors are there which directly influence upon the behavior. Motivation is the force. Motivation is the force which is very, very important for the betterment. It may be defined further a positive motivation and negative motivation. But studies said that positive motivation always work as compared to the negative motivations. Positive motivations, the increments. Positive motivation may be some relax in the time periods or the working hours. We are providing some lunch, dinner and pick drop facilities. So many things are there which we are providing to our employee. It becomes the part of the motivation. Increments, promotions, fringe benefits. So many things are there which can influence the behavior of the employee, which is the part of the motivation. So motivation also under the part of the study of the organizational behavior. This is clearly indicated here. Then learning of each person, how a particular person is working, how the efficiency is going on, how is the performance of a specific employee is going on. This is the part or the scope of the O. Studies said that learning is the permanent change in the behavior. Although it is very difficult to change the behavior, so many factors, external factors, internal factors, so many factors are there who directly influence upon your learning, your personality always. But there are some practices are there. With the help of these practices, you can improve your personality as well as the learning patterns. So this is the scope of some. Next, point number 2, we can study focus on team. For the focus on team, for the focus on group or the reference groups also, interpersonal behavior must be focused during the study of the organizational behavior, or it include the interpersonal behavior study. The nature of team, the nature of groups, the nature of your group as well as your reference group is studied by exploring the group norms, group roles. Conflicts arises in the groups, leadership style, leadership and team building. This team is important when we are providing the specific task, then we are choosing some specific persons only. Why? This is depend upon the team building process. This is also the part of the HR, human resource management, how we can build a team and how we can achieve our goals with the help of the leadership. The various type of the leadership styles are there, as well as the team building and what are the norms we are deciding, what may be the conflict may be arising in the organization with the specific policy. So this is the focus of team. Next, you can say the point number 3, focus on organization. The study also focus on the organizational structure. What is the structure of organization? Organization structure, system, policies, procedures, practices, and the culture of the specific organization is also the part of the study in the organizational behavior. This is clearly indicated. Point 1, 2, and point number 3. Next, nature of organizational behavior. Nature is also very, very important then. Organizational behavior or the behavioral approaches to the general business management. OB helps in understanding the human behavior and work through theory building and practical applications and their application in the market, application in the organization. OB helps in predicting the behavior of the person, behavior of the people at work. Prediction is very, very important. So we can do this type of the practices after the study of organizational behavior. It is an interdisciplinary area or the field that derives the knowledge from the field of sociology, as well as the anthropology is included here, psychology, etc. We already said that the study of the organizational behavior is not only a single stream or not only a single discipline, it is the correlation of the various fields, like the anthropology is there, sociology is there, psychology is there, so many things are there. So anthropology, psychology, to constitute applied behavior or the behavioral science is the part or the nature of the organizational behavior. OB is behavioral approach, clearly indicated. Help in understanding the human behavior, clearly indicated. OB helps in predicting, clearly indicating. It is also predicting about the behavior of the persons, pupils or employees, clearly indicated in this slide. It is an interdisciplinary field. So there are 2 to 3 points are there, which is clearly indicated here in behavioral science, understanding human behavior, building and practical applications, helps in the predicting the behavior of persons, people or the employees, or interdisciplinary field where we have studied or where this is correlated or joined the knowledge from the sociology, anthropology, psychology constitute for the behavioral sciences. Next we can say, in this slide, an analysis the behavior at 3 levels. More than 2 levels are there. Analyze behavior at the 3 levels. Individual level, how we can analyze, the team, clearly indicated. 3 points are there. Number 1, individual behavior, then group behavior, then organizational behavior. So individually a person is different, in a group there may be the chances, there may be some change, as well as when that particular person in overall in organization, what type of the performance he is providing, what type of the practices he is doing, that particular person or employee is satisfied or dissatisfied with the organization, their policies, their monitoring system, their perks, their salary system. So many factors are there which may be analyzed and it may be changed, results may be changed. Individually, behavior may be changed. In a group, which is known as the group dynamics, Sometimes that particular persons are doing very, very well in a group, not individually. If a particular person is individually doing the task, sometimes it is reported that that particular person is not achieving the goals. But 2, 3, 4 persons, when they are jointly do some specific research, they are doing some specific design of the product, they are doing something new ideas development, new idea generation. So many things are there. Then we said that 2, 3 or 4 persons teams are doing very well. Sometimes the organizational factors, facilities which is providing, services which is providing, may be a good factor for the development of the efficiency and productivity. Productivity, not only the organization, but efficiency and performance of the particular person in a group may be different. Next, OV is an action-oriented and goal-oriented discipline. Why it is very, very important? OV is why it is very important? Because action-oriented and goal-oriented discipline is known as the OB, which is known as the organizational behavior. Every organization working in the field, every organization doing the business is action-oriented, goal-oriented and result-oriented. I am not saying the profit maximization, but there are some goals are there, some missions are there. It may be changed organization to organization, sector to sectors. So it provides a rational thinking about the people and their behavior in the organization. Next, OP is a science also. It is systematically studied human behavior as well as an art. It is also art and science. It is applied that the behavioral knowledge. So OB is the science, is a systematically studied. Everything is on the system with the rules. Human behavior as well as this is an art. Why it is an art? Sometimes there may be question arise. Explain why the OB is considered as the science or it is also an art. So this is clearly indicated. OB is the science because systematically studies are there, some rules are there, some formulas are there, some norms are there. So they are doing same if you are doing same type of the experiments. So they are the results may be the repeated like the chemistry. So it is a science. As well as art, it is apply the behavioral knowledge, some specific knowledge they are applying, some specific beautiful policies are there, some systematically applications are there. You can change the rules and regulations. You can give the relax to the persons or the employees. So this is art. How you are dealing with your employees. Only as a robot or also with the humanity. So when we are more human, maybe the part of art. When we are adamant, no, you will do it. You will do 100% target within a specific time period. So sometimes it is not possible sometimes. Although the results are good. So when there is the correlation of the science and application of the art, we can generate a good gesture, we can generate a good effect, we can create a good organizational behavior with the application of the sciences and the application of art, which is known the humanity. OB aims to fulfill both the individual and organizational goal. Two types of the goals are there. Individual goals are there, which is correlated with a particular person, manager, employee, and so on. And organizational goal, what is the organizational goals are there? It is the part of the mission, vision, and goals. So some particular person fix the goals. This is my goal, I will earn that much of the money. Organization, no, I will do it. This specific product we will launch in this specific month for the persons or for the society. So there are the organizational goals, which is correlated with the vision and mission of the organization, and personal goals are there. It may be change or it may be centered, or it may be micro level. Next, the open system and institutional perspective, society and organization. It is also the very important. Open system and institutional. Society is very important. Hence, the modern society is an organizational society. There is the civilization process is there. Through the organized living, in which organization or organizations, more than one organization, play an important role. How? Different type of the organizations are created, developed, sustained, and order to satisfy the multitude and the varied needs of the members of the society. So, this is the part of the open system and institutional perspectives also. Society places at the disposal of organizational or requisite resources while setting out the objectives to be pursued, and also keep a tag on the organization's activity and the functions. So this is clearly indicated in the organizational behavior, or we are doing the applications. So activities and functions correlated with the organization. We must consider about the objective of the organization, then we can plan about the activities, then we can plan the task, we can plan the functions, which are the functions, what are the work we can provide or divided or given to the specific team members or individually also. This is clearly indicated in this slide. Then, while the organization are important for the society, society is the resource provider and a generator of the all organization. So there is the important is the society is very, very important. Society is important. We are living in the society. So, and the resource providers is the society. What type of the resources are required? What are the prerequisites for the growth of organization? From where we will purchase the goods, commodities, materials. What type of the organization is this? Okay. Next, resource dependence theory. Resource dependence theory, we can understand this theory given in the year of 1978. Resource is very, very important. Resource is, human is also a resource. Human is also known as the human resource management. Very important. So many resources are there. Resource dependence theory clearly indicated that captures the concept when it postulates two assumptions are there. First, that the organizations and their pupils or persons or workers are interdependent with other organization. First, that the organization and their pupils or the workers who are working there are interdependent with the other organizations, and pupil, for the second concept, the consequent as the result to this interdependency and the society or the social relationship involved. Because interdependency, when we are depend to each other, when organization is depend upon the organization, is depend upon the society for the resources. So as a consequence, interdependency directly correlated or involved the social relationship, not only the organization behavior, but the societal behavior is also the part of the OB, which is there another dimension. of which dimension we can say this is the dimension where there is the need to focus. This is the need to focus for the betterment of the organization. So, social relationship is the part. For understanding is much better served by investigating the effect and the constraints. Constraints are sometimes the barriers. Constraints may be the time, constraints may be the resources, constraints may be the money. So many factors are there which become the part of the constraint. But resource dependency theory is directly indicated there is the need to study and focus on it. Emanating from the social context or as the issue, this is true of both the individual and the organizational behavior. So you can write down this theory from the slide. This is known as the resource dependence theory. Clearly. Next. The open system perspectives given by the Kurtz and Kohn focus on the external social constraints. We have already discussed about the constraints. In the year of the 1966, they focus on the external social constraints. External social constraints. Internal is there, but external is also focus. Or they are known as the constraints. They are known as the barriers. So, these constraints also need to study when we are planning, we are making any policy for the betterment of the organization. So, that is the part of the open system. Like external social constraint on the organization and their action, organizations are subsystem of society. This is clearly indicated. What? Organizations are the subsystem of the society. This is clearly indicated here. And it is true. Society has the many systems, but each system has defining the characteristics. Like number one, we can study here the important or energizing the inputs from the social environment. Then transformation of available energy, need of the transformation. Which type of the energy? As throughput, so that work is done within the system. These are two important parts which can be the part, which are the part of the open system. After this specific theory, then we are studying about the importance of the energies, important about the inputs, importance is the social environment, important is the society, important is the transformation, available energy, how we can utilize, we can say the charismatic changes, how we are using our available resources, best resources, available resources, how we are using them, or we are doing sometimes miracles with the help of this transformation process, so that work is done within the system with the help of the available resources. Next, to understand about the exportation of a product or output into the environment, then we consider a cycle of events, not only one event, two events, more, so many events are there. A cycle of the events in which the product exported to the environment provide the energy for the repetition of the cycle. Energy is very much required for the repetition of the cycle. The development of the negative entropy, this is sometimes the negativity is also there. The development of the negative entropy, where the more energy is imported from the environment that is expended in the world. When there is the negative entropy, positive synergies also exist and negativity sometimes also exist, which is dangerous, maybe negative for the development of the organization, sometimes for the development of the individual or the development of the team. This specific negativity is there if it is existing in any organization. If there is, we are studying or analyze, the result is not up to the mark. Not up to the mark. Then there is the need to study which type of the entropy is there, which type of the energy is there, which type of the pulses are there, what are the conflicts are existing, what is existing in the organization. So this theory directly indicated, this specific point directly indicated why there is the need to discharge this specific negativity, entropy, and develop a positivity, thus contracting the entrophic impairment, which inevitably trends towards the disorganization and the death sometime. So there is the need to study about the positivity, about the energy available in the organization. Next we can say in this slide, the existence of the information, inputs or signals about how the environment, internal, external, and the system are functioning, how the system is functioning in any organization. Negative feedbacks, whatever feedbacks are there, from the internal functioning. External is very good, but there is some lack pulling is there. Some policies are not good. Some persons are not fit for the organization. Some negative persons are there. Their working style is not up to the mark. Their leadership style are negative. So which type of the managers, which type of the person, what type of the leadership style is adopted by the superiors is also the part to study. Negative feedback, internal functioning, as well as which provide the information to correct deviations from courses and coding the process that simplifies energy and information. Information inputs and that permits their selective receptions as well as the a steady state. This preserves the character of the system and is marked by a stable ratio of energy exchanges and relations between the parts. Movement in the directions, how the movements is going on, of increasing the differentiations, elaborations, specializations are the part. Operation of the principle of the equifinity, under which a system can achieve the same final state from the different initially conditions and the various paths. The operations of the principles of the equality. Next we can see the open system. Open system perspective not only identifies the characteristics of system, not only the characteristics, but the terms of its relationship with the other system external to it, but also it provides a framework to understand the internal structures and the functions and the process which bind them to each other. So, governing both the external factors, internal aspects, is done through the institutionalization through the institutions only. One more important factor is there. Institutionalization, when there is institutionalization, institutions are going on, developing, establishing in the industry, in the society, you can say. Define the behavior patterns. Which type of the patterns is there? Institutionalization define the behavior patterns required to regulate the flow of activities. What are the activities are going? Which type of activities are going on? So it is required to regulate the flow of the activities and the resources between and within the organized system. When system is organized, because market is also sometimes two types: organized market or unorganized market. So there is always the vacancy, or you can say there is always the two type of the system is there: organized and unorganized. But there is the need to organize the system. There is a need to organize the behavior, organize the policies, not only the individual, also in the group, also with the organization. If three type of the behavior is studied, analyzed, we can improve it, like individual behavior, team behavior, organizational behavior. It become a path of success. A positive synergy may be arise with the help of these practices during the study of organization behavior. So, direction, the direct or the indirect interrelations, dependencies between the organization create the need for the institutionalization for not only the effective functioning but also for maintenance of the specific structures, forms, activities, rules, regulations, and degree of exchange are the part. Then, institutional regulations. Regulations or institutional regulates and organize pattern of behavior of individual, members of the system, of its component groups, and in turn it is also greatly influenced by the sentiments, attitudes, activities, performances, functions, etc. While the collective institutions impact upon the conceived how the individual sentiments, how the personal sentiments or the personal attitudes and the personal activities become exchanged, crystallized with the institution is not clear sometimes. So there is the need to focus more on these specific factors. Then, institution regulate and organize the pattern of behavior of individual members of the system and of its the component groups, and in turn it is also greatly influenced by their sentiments, attitudes, behaviors. Collective institution impacts conceived how the individual sentiments, attitude, activities become exchanged and crystallized. Though the process of accumulations, through the process of the accumulations means a process of, this word is very important, accumulation means the meaning means process of culture and psychology become change. When there is the change in the process, there is change in some culture, there is the change in the behavior, there is the change in the psychology. It is the tool of success. If a particular person is negative, then there is the need to change some specific policies. There is the change and apply the psychological change practices, how the psychology may be changed. Cultural changes are there. So this is directly impact upon the organization behavior. And socialization institutions are transmitted from macro to the micro units also day by day on the other system, but they reverse analysis how the micro behavior impacts on the macro institution is considered as the blind spot caught in the black box system. We can say it is an, this specific slide you can study, but it is an undeniable fact that in the social exchange, when there is the social exchange of achieving the social order, somewhere the micro as well as the macro mutually impact, both micro and macro both mutually impact to each other or to one another, though with the differing degree of freedom and the effectiveness. The balance in this exchange is inherently maintained, though the temporary indication of disorganization, disintegrations sometimes appear during this specific policy. Organizational structures are purported to develop in highly institutionalized context, where they are influenced to take on the practices and the procedures that are defined by prevailing more rationalized ideas, you can put, about the organizational work held in the society. So there is the need of the rationalization. What is the meaning of the rationalization here? Very, very important is the rationalization, which is justified, which is possible. We can analyze it, we can implement it. Then if it is happened or this is directly related with the results of the organizations, then this is rationalized. So we have discussed about the rationalized product is there, rationalized services are there, rationalized policies are there. When this is justified, then this is the part of the rationalized. Okay. Then organizational work held in the society, when they do this, increase their legitimacy and their chances of survival, when there are the positivity, when there the rational ideas are there, when there is the positivity is there, when there are the procedures are there, where there are the practices are fair, then there may be the chances of the survival of the organization. New institutionalizations is there. Some specific thing, the new institutionalized, there are the challenges. This postulate and call the societal, and expectations defined through the institutions can be mythically, it may be conflict may be arises. Then criteria of efficiency may be there, profit maximization may be there, and such of goals of the organization may be achieved accordingly. They are critical of all institutions. We are critical for the all institutionalists are there. So in the context and the concept, we can say, of the organizational behavior, institutional or institutionalization is the process through which a given set of culture, rules, regulations in the name of the collective progress and justice. So in the institutionalization, not only the development of the organization, but we must be focused, organizational behavior theories must be focused about the development of the employees, development of the team, development of the utilization of the resources, and there is the name as the collective process and justice. Justice is very, very important when we are applying any policies in the organization. It becomes the part of the organizational behavior. A pattern of the activities come to the normatively, cognitively, there many terms are there, held in the place so that they are taken for the granted to be lawful either by the formal laws, either by the customs, either by the common knowledges, and action is not by individual choices but of the broad of social scripts. Societal concept is also arising here, society is also there, so this has become the part. You can see, they see that in this contention the individualism loses out in the large part of the massive institutionalization features of the social system. Social system important. They also see a forced rationalization, which I have already discussed the term rationalization or what is the rationality. We have already discussed when this is the justified, this is the part, then this is known as the rationalization. Okay, which is a purposive with the purpose. You can say instrumental process is this, that the structure every day or in the every life within the impersonal norms and the rules that constitutes the universal social organization and collective morals are there. Moral is also the part. So moral is what? What is right, what is wrong, what is justified, which is not justified is the part of the moral, which is the part of the policies when we are applying in the organization behavior. Suggest a model as given. So today we are here. So in the next session we will discuss about the dimensions, rationality as well as the other models of the organizational behavior. Thank you very much. I am always available when there is any inquiry regarding any query of the OB. Thank you.